So you want to go boondocking? Well, how much solar do you really need? Hey everybody, I'm Mike.
And I'm Susan, and we're RVBlogger.
And the big question today is, what's she doing here? We're very happy to have Susan in front of the camera today instead of behind the camera. And we're going to be talking about solar today. Do you need solar in your RV? And so I brought the expert in to help us out with all this stuff.
I'm only the expert at knowing what I want my solar to operate.
Yes, she is the expert end user of all the solar stuff that we have installed on our rig. But and there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that we use. So do you need solar in your RV? Honey, what would you say?
I would say there are two things to think about. Number one is, what kind of RVer are you?
Yeah, that's true.
And what do you want it to operate? What do you want to have power?
Right, that's right. So depending on the kind of RVer you are, let's kind of break that down, right?
Right, so if you're going campground to campground, pedestal to pedestal, you won't need solar because you'll have electricity.
You're gonna plug in everywhere.
Not a
we
problem.
used to camp that way, and it was great.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I like that.
Yeah, you got your glamping. You got everything you need.
I'm okay with that.
You do laundry and everything. We're all good.
Absolutely.
Then you have what? Your overnighter. So you're going to go further distances. Maybe you're traveling from point A to point B.
Maybe you're trying to get from Maryland to Florida really quick.
Every winter.
And so you want to drive as long as you can, spend the night somewhere, and get up and finish your journey the next day.
Right.
You might want solar. You might need solar.
Or you might just throw a lot of blankets on the bed and rough it for a night or two.
You might do that too.
And that's fine, you know?
Or you may be the kind of RVer who likes to disconnect every once in a while, and you want to go to BLM, you want to go to national parks or state parks that do not offer electricity. You just want to camp away from people, and we understand that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we've enjoyed quite a bit of that ourselves.
Right. Yes.
That's for sure.
So what kind of RVer are you matters as to whether or not you really need solar.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then what do you want to power in your rig is also a really big consideration, right?
Yes.
I know even if we spend the night in a Walmart parking lot, I like to fall asleep at night watching TV, right?
He's a little bougie.
I like our TVs to work.
Yeah.
I like to have the fireplace on because I like the ambiance. You
Right.
know, I like to be able to use my microwave or my convection oven.
We wanted to live when we're boondocking just like we live when we're plugged in.
Absolutely. And for us, that really works because we live in our rig, 3/4 of the year. We work in our rig, 3/4 of that 3/4 of a year. So for us, being comfortable and all that stuff is super important because it's where we live and work.
One of the questions we get asked a lot is, how come we don't cover solar when we do our tours?
Yeah, when we do our tours. People misunderstand what solar is and how it works. So people think if they have a solar panel on their rig, they're good to go. They can go boondocking and they're all set. And that's really not how it works.
Right.
And so many new RVs that are out there do have a little bit of solar on them. Even our RV, when we bought it, this big 39-foot Class A RV, came with a minimal amount of solar. It came with a 100-watt solar panel on the roof. Came with a 2 lead acid batteries.
It didn't even come with lithium batteries.
Didn't even have lithium batteries. And so, if you don't know, that's not really going to do much more than just run your refrigerator and maybe your lights.
So don't be fooled by what you might be able to do. Chances are that 100-watt solar panel will run your refrigerator for you overnight, which is important.
It just doesn't do a lot.
Yeah, but it's just not going to do anything else.
No. You're not going to really be able to go boondocking for a couple of reasons. One is that system will not run your AC units, and so part of what makes boondocking work, whether you're spending a night at a Harvest Host, a Cracker Barrel, or a Bass Pro Shop overnight, or if you're going to spend a week away boondocking somewhere, the weather has to be right. And if the weather's not perfect, you're going to need heat or you're going to need AC, and your solar system is not going to cover that if it's the basic one that came with your RV. The other misnomer out there is that RVs come pre-wired for solar. that pretty much just means they run some wires behind the walls. Maybe they go up through the roof. They go down to a compartment bay where you can then add on your solar panels on the roof, add a battery bank, add your components on the other end, and that's really about it. And honestly, your solar installer probably won't even use what the manufacturer installed. He will probably use all of his own wire and everything to make sure you get the proper setup.
And you can use a generator.
Well, yeah, of course you could use a generator. When would you use a generator?
Well, not during the non-quiet hours, that's for sure.
So yeah, you can use your generator and spend the night somewhere, but at a lot of harvest hosts and some Cracker Barrels, even Walmarts, if you have other people camping around you, you might not want it. You might not be allowed to use your generator, or you might not want to run it because your neighbors are close and around you.
Right.
So,
and if you're at a state park or a national park, you have limitations to when you can run your generator then.
Right. So the generator can work because you can run your air conditioner when the generator's on. You can run your heat when the generator's on, but you may not always be able to run your generator.
Right.
So now you're kind of stuck.
Right.
Right. And so now you're at the same position where we found ourselves, which is we barely have any solar. We do have a generator, but we can't always run it. And neither one of those options is really good enough to get us to the point where we can boondock from point A to point B no matter what the weather is, or we can decide to head off to a national park and dry camp for a week or two, or we want to go on BLM land for a week or two. So whatever comes with your RV is not going to get you to those levels of boondocking where you need more solar. And that's the problem that we ran into, and that's the problem that most folks run into.
Right.
You get to this point where it's just not enough to give you what you want it to do.
What your end goal is.
Yep. So why don't we head inside our rig now, and we'll just walk around and show you some of the features in our RV that can run off a solar panel, because it'll help you to think about and decide on what it is that you want to power up in your rig, so that it'll begin to help you envision and plan for how much solar you'll need on your rig. Now here we are inside of our rig, and I'm just going to quickly run through here and show you everything that we have that is able to be run off of the solar system and the battery system inside of our RV. And we opted to have everything run off of the batteries in our RV. That's because we live in our RV 9 months a year and we work in here as well. And so this is our home and our workplace, and that's what we felt we needed to be very, very comfortable. I am not saying that this is what you need to do, but by pointing out everything, it's going to help you think about what you want and need in your RV, so that when you're trying to figure out what size solar system you need, you at least have an idea of what you need it to power. And that's the most important things to know. What you don't want to do is end up in a situation where you have too small of a solar system and it doesn't power everything you need, or too big of a system for what you really need it to do. You're either going to spend too much money and be unhappy about that, or you're going to spend too little money and not be comfortable. So we're going to point out all these things just to create awareness for you. So first of all, right up front here, we have our T-Mobile system. A lot of folks also use Starlink. They have to plug into an outlet somewhere, so your outlets have to work if you're going to be able to access the internet. We also have every single light on inside of here. They take very little power, but it's just to show you, you're going to have power needs. Our up front bed goes up and down electrically, so this doesn't work unless you have power. Our recliners need electricity so they can recline, and these plug into a 110 outlet, so I have to have an outlet nearby just so I can sit back and recline in the evening. Another thing is our TV. First of all, it's on a televator, so I can't even see the TV unless I have that power source for the TV. And then the TV itself takes up power. And then under here, I've got my Fire Stick, I've got my Chromecast, I have a DVD player, and I have a switcher. All those things need power. And then we have our fireplace, which provides a nice ambiance, but it also provides heat for us as well. The dinette, we have a regular lamp in here that has to plug in, but this is where we work. And so we have our computers charging here, our phones charging here, all that stuff's going on. The kitchen area, we've got our convection microwave, we've got our induction cooktop underneath here. And then of course you've got your refrigerator. Now up on the roof, we've got an air conditioner here in the front, and then we also have our max air fan here in the middle of the ceiling. And so they all run off of the power, and your air conditioners and your heat sources are major draws on your solar system. So be aware of that. I also have a fan sitting out here. We run our fan in our bedroom. We'll run it up front here if we need it. And then we're going to head on back here to the mid-bath area. We have a light in here, we have fans in here, and this is where Susan uses her hair dryer and curling iron and all that stuff. I talked about the fridge already, but you've got to have that powered up. That runs on 110 and that plugs into an outlet, so that outlet has to be powered up. And then we have a washer and dryer inside of our rig. And believe it or not, we use these when we boondock. So they're very important to us to have them working as well. Our bed in here is on a tilt-a-lift. And so in order to put the bed down, I have to click a switch over there and the bed goes down and out. Can't even go to sleep at night without electricity. In addition to that, I've got another air conditioner back here, and then we have our TV here as well. We also have outlets and plugs on either side of the bed so we can charge phones at night. I also keep a space heater back here in the bedroom, so if we get a little chilly on those cold nights, we can warm up a little bit. We also have a heated blanket that we sometimes plug in. And then all the way back here in our rear bath, we have a night light. I charge my shaver back here, and we also have a fan up in the ceiling. There's also the shower back here as well. And when we're boondocking, in order to take a shower, you need your water pump to work. And guess what that runs on? Your batteries. Hey guys, I just brought my awning in, and it made me realize I forgot to mention on the list of things that you need to consider for your power needs. You might have some items outside to consider, like an awning's no big deal, but you might have an outdoor
kitchen.
Thank you, honey.
You're
an
welcome.
Outdoor kitchen where you might have another mini fridge that has to stay plugged in all the time. That's a big power draw. Or you might use an electric smoker or something along those lines. So just consider those needs and factor them in when you're going through the process.
So we've covered what kind of RVer are you?
Yes.
We've covered what you may need to operate or want to operate with your solar.
Yep.
Next step is the installation.
Yeah, and we're going to be just straight up with you guys. I think the best place to get your solar installed is with our friend Todd Henson, who also owns Big Beard Batteries. Now, you guys may know Todd because he is one of the creators of RV Unplugged. You might have seen him on that show. He's the big guy with the big beard, hence the name Big Beard Batteries. Todd is the most knowledgeable person that we know when it comes to anything on your RV, but especially solar and batteries. You know, he teaches a lot of solar installers how to do their installations. He also created the Big Beard Battery Company. He's done all these installations on his own. So he's got 4 really great options for any of you that want to get a solar system installed on your rig. The first one is that, you know, Todd will actually take the time to go over with you all about your rig and what your needs are, and he'll actually design a system for you. And then he can take that system, ship it all, put it all together, and ship it to you wherever you are, and you can install that system yourself.
With instructions.
With instructions and everything. Now, I don't recommend this unless you're very, very experienced at electrical work and you understand how all this stuff works. But it is an option for you to consider. The next option that I would consider is, or that they have to offer is, they can send a mobile installer to wherever you are in the country. You know, since Todd has trained so many mobile installers, you know, he knows a lot of guys, he works with a lot of guys that he has confidence in, that he can send to you, and they can do your install for you wherever you are.
Which could be very convenient if you can't get off work.
Yeah, right. You don't want to take the time or you can't get off work. That's perfect. The third way you can do it, and this is what we did, is you can bring your RV to Todd, show up at his facility, and his team will do the installation for you right there on his property. Now, that's a great thing to do if you're going to be in the Texas area, because that's where their facility is, in Athens, Texas.
Right.
And
Or you can take the time to go there.
yeah, if you're down that way and you're
Right.
cruising through. And we did that. We got to see the facility, and we know a lot of guys on his team anyway, so it was good to see all of them again. We know them all. And so that's a terrific way to do it. And they'll do the install, but not the best way to do it. The very best way to do it is the fourth method that they have available, which is you go to their facility with your rig and you do the installation yourself with all of their equipment. Now, the big benefit to this is Todd has everything there. He's got all the tools you'll need. He's got all the wire. He has all the connectors, all the nuts and bolts and parts and pieces that you'll need to properly install your system. And Todd and his team are there. So while you're doing your install, they're there if you have questions. And I can assure you, you will have lots and lots of questions. So take advantage of that last one, because they'll really help you through the process.
And it'll help you to learn your solar system by being there and doing it there and having it done with the assistance of his team.
Yep. And you get a bonus. You get a bonus if you go there and install it yourself with Todd and his team's help. You get a bonus brisket dinner to celebrate you installing your own solar system at the end of your install. Now, we've hung out with Todd and Stephanie quite a bit. Stephanie is Todd's wife, and they run Big Beard Battery together. They are two of the nicest people, two of the finest people that you'll ever meet. And it'll be a great time. And then you get to have this great brisket dinner.
Todd makes the best brisket.
It is awesome.
I can't eat any other brisket.
He gets up extra early, throws that thing on the smoker. It cooks all day. By dinner time, it is tender, juicy, delicious. You will love it.
Now, when we were there getting Big Beard batteries installed, there was another couple that was at the facility getting their solar installed. And unfortunately, we had to leave before brisket day. So we would have stayed.
We would have mooched in if we could have.
Yeah.
And then the final thing is, which batteries are you going to use and in your system? And there are a lot of choices out there. We've seen a bunch of batteries in different folks' RVs over the years. And what we've seen is you can either buy the really cheap batteries from China
and
that
take a risk,
have some problems. They don't do a lot of the things that they need to do, or you can overpay from some of the big name manufacturers out there that are very well known, or you can go with Big Beard batteries. And in our opinion, they are the best value in the marketplace. They offer the most features for the best price that we've seen out there. And we've also been to the facility. We've seen these batteries being put together, and they have some great features to them that really, really matter. One of the most important is with Big Beard batteries, you will get the largest supply of amp hours in the smallest footprint in the industry. All that means is lots of power.
Big things come
from
in little
a small
packages.
battery. And the reason that's important is because you're going to have to give up some space in your RV somewhere for all of this stuff to go. And you want to give up the least amount of space possible.
Right.
Because if your rig's anything like ours, it's jam-packed full
We're
of
going to
stuff.
show you where ours is, and you will not believe.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it's perfect. It's the perfect spot for them. This is my original battery bay from when we bought the RV. We had a couple of lead acid batteries in here, and we decided to move our system to a different location, which I'll show you in just a second. But part of the reason we decided to move is because there's just not enough room in here for the batteries and all the components that we have. And this compartment is right behind the engine, and so it's going to get really, really hot in here when we travel, and we don't want to expose our batteries to all that heat. And that's the other reason we decided to pick another location. So this is where we decided to install our batteries in our RV for a number of reasons. And when we were considering all of this, this is where Todd comes in and really helps to design and helps you figure all of this kind of stuff out. As you can see here, I've got a pass-through compartment. It goes from this side of the RV all the way to the other side. And on this side of the compartment, it's only that deep. But I couldn't use this for a lot of storage, but it works great for all the components that we have in here. And speaking of components, Todd uses all Victron components in his installs. They are by far the best electrical components in the industry. They're very big in the boating world. as well. But I've seen other systems out there fail. I've seen other systems out there not do as well. And the Victron systems are really top of the line, and I highly recommend that those are the components that you go with. And Todd will recommend those for you as well at Big Beard Battery. Now, in addition to all of our electrical components in here, we also had to put some of our solar chargers in the next compartment over, which is my electrical compartment anyway. So everything works here really, really well. The other big reason that we chose this location in our rig is because our bed is right behind this slide out, and there's a ton of electrical components under our bed, and that's where the main circuit breakers are as well. So everything has to be home run to there. So it just made a whole lot of sense to use this area for our setup. The other really great thing about Todd's batteries are that they actively balance on their own. Now, I'm not going to get into all the technical stuff with that, but what it means is if your batteries actively balance, then you're going to get the most amount of power for the longest amount of time, and your batteries are going to operate as efficiently as they can, which also helps them last longer as well. The next big thing is that his batteries all come heated. A lot of other manufacturers, you have to pay an upgrade to get the heated batteries. But with Big Beard batteries, they come that way, and that's huge. We've had some big problems with our batteries getting cold. And you may not know this, but lithium batteries don't charge very fast if they get below 34 degrees. And so if you're tooling around out there and it's in the 20s and your batteries are cold and you've used power all day trying to keep warm and run the lights and watch TV or whatever it is you're doing, and your batteries are low, they're not going to charge very fast. So the next day, instead of starting at 100, you might be starting at 50. And they may not charge to 100. They may charge to 60, and then overnight you're going to wear them down. And so that's a real problem. And the other big problem we had was storage. You know, we live in Maryland, we go home for the holidays, and our batteries would get cold and they wouldn't take a charge. And so now we lose the option of maybe leaving the refrigerator on while the RV's in storage, or you know, things like that. We can't really remove the batteries.
No, you're not going to be able to take them out like you might in
a couple of lead acid batteries. Yeah,
so they're there forever.
Yeah, so that's a real problem for you folks that live in the colder climates. No matter what, you could have a problem
Having
with your
them
batteries.
Heated, it gives you peace of mind.
Absolutely. And then finally, they're a great price. I mean, we've compared them to the other batteries that are out there in the marketplace, and one of Todd's goals too was, you know, he's seen people pay too little and get the cheapy batteries, but we've also seen people pay way too much
and not get the biggest bang for their buck.
Yeah, right. And so they have a really great price on their batteries. So I feel, and Susan feels, that they're the best value out there, and that's why we went with them. And so we think you should do the same thing. So in terms of, you know, how you set up your solar, those are really the big things to consider. How you camp, what you need to power up, how you're going to get them installed, and then what batteries you're going to use. And I think if you go with Big Beard, especially for the install and the batteries, you will be in great shape.
So we hope this video has helped you to learn a little bit more about solar, the possibilities of upgrading your rig for solar, what you may need and what you may want to operate while you're on the road. So hopefully you were able to gain a little bit of insight.
And I know we didn't cover a lot of the technical information. I'm not an expert on that. So if you want to learn more about that part of it, head on over to bigbeardbatteries.com. They have some great resources on there. Todd has lots of videos so you can learn more about the technical aspects. And they have all of the different classes and installation methods that we discussed earlier in the video. So you can check all of that out as well. They even have some pre-built designs that you can check out. So that website is just chock full of information. We want to thank our friends here at the Luna Farm here in South Carolina for letting us spend the night at their wonderful Harvest Host location last night. And we want to thank Big Beard Batteries, because without them, we wouldn't be able to be staying at these places. If you'd like to check out some more of our videos and get some great tips on how to take care of your RV, just hit the box down below, and Susan and I will see you in the next video.